one drop of oil, and an endless war. Meet William Knox Darcy, a British businessman with an idea. In 1901, he swaggered into Iran with a proposition. Hey, I have a proposition. I'll try to find oil on your land. You'll get to keep 17% and I'll get to keep 83%. Cool? Man, I don't know. Look, Britain says it's cool. Fine. I'll sign. Cool. In 1951, Iran's Prime Minister Mossadegh did the unthinkable. He nationalized Iran's oil. Britain, who had been treating that oil like their personal piggy bank, panicked. So they called their new pal, the USA. Hey, wanna overthrow a democracy? Operation Ajax was born, the CIA's first coup. They bribed generals, staged protests, and poof, Mossadegh was out. In came the Shah, a US-backed king who loved two things, repression and throwing $100 billion parties while Iranians starved. By 1979, protests erupted. Shah fled to America claiming medical reasons. Iranians saw it as a proof the US loved dictators more than democracy. Enter Ayatollah Khomeini, a stern cleric exiled for criticizing the Shah's purchase of US weapons. From France, his sermon blasted the regime, calling it un-Islamic and America's puppet. When the Shah fled to the US for medical care, Khomeini returned. The monarchy collapsed and Iran became an Islamic republic. The US, shocked their dictator was gone, froze Iran's assets. Iran retaliated by keeping the F-14 jets that Shah purchased from USA. After Iran's 1979 revolution, America lost their closest ally in the Middle East, the Shah. Humiliated, the US needed a new pawn. Enter Saddam Hussein, Iraq's dictator. He wanted control of the Shabt al-Arab River, a strategic oil shipping route. Adding to it was his paranoia the revolution might spread to Iraq. On September 22, 1980, Iraq invaded Iran thinking it would be a quick win. They even captured border cities like Khurramshahr, but Iran wasn't backing down. Iran's army, backed by revolutionary militias, turned the tide. In 1982, they broke the siege of Abadan, a city Iraq had surrounded for 14 months. By mid-1982, Iraq went back to its original borders, but Iran kept attacking, determined to overthrow Saddam. Neither side could win. Soldiers made trenches like in World War I. And Iran launched human wave attacks, often with child soldiers. But Iraq responded with chemical weapons, killing thousands. The Halabja massacre in 1988 saw 5,000 Kurdish civilians killed by chemical gas. Then came the tanker war. Both sides attacked oil ships in the Persian Gulf. The US stepped in during 1987, escorting Kuwaiti tankers to protect oil flow. But who backed whom in this war? On Iraq's side, we had the US and Soviets who secretly armed Iraq. The US even turned a blind eye to chemical weapons. Arab states like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait sent $50 billion to Iraq to keep Iran weak. France sold Exocet missiles to Iraq, and Germany supplied materials for chemical bombs. But for Iran's support, we had Syria and Libya who sent cash and weapons. But in a wild twist, Israel secretly sold weapons to Iran during the Iran-Contra affair to fund Nicaraguan rebels. But after 8 years, the UN brokered a ceasefire. Borders went back to where they started. But the cost? 300k to 600k Iranian deaths and 100k to 200k Iraqi deaths. Infrastructure was shattered, and Iraq owed $80 billion in debt, which led to Saddam's invasion of Kuwait in 1990. By the 2000s, tensions over Iran's nuclear program exploded. The US accused Iran of secretly building nuclear weapons. This led to crippling sanctions under President Bush and Obama. In 2015, a historic deal, the JCPOA, was struck. Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for lifting sanctions, unfreezing $100 billion in assets. But in 2018, Trump withdrew, calling it a disaster, and reimposed sanctions, slashing Iran's oil exports by 80%. Tensions fused with the nuclear crisis. Despite Biden's attempt to revive the JCPOA, talks stalled. By 2023, Iran was enriching uranium to 60% purity, just short of the level needed for nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, proxy wars raged. Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen attacked Saudi Arabia, and militias in Iraq targeted US troops. External powers made things worse. China and Russia helped Iran's economy, and Israel killed Iran's nuclear scientists. Today, the region teeters between diplomacy and disaster, a stalemate with no end in sight.